Hey babes, it's Sharanta Isadora and welcome to Grace and Babe Reviews. And during this video today, I will be doing a book review. And that review will be on Across the Universe by Elise Marion. This is book 6 in her Across the Universe series. I have not read any other books in this series. And yes, I know this is book 6, but I particularly wanted to latch on to this book because it is a star-crossed lovers romance featuring a black couple. Okay, this is your cover. So again, in the interest of saving time, I'm going to but just give you a general idea of what's going on with this blurb. So with the blurb, what we have is Anika Butler, who lives in this small town. It's called St. Groves, and she has this paranormal event that happens in this town on the night that they all decide to go into the town square and watch this lunar eclipse. And what happens is, while they're watching the lunar eclipse, again, this major paranormal activity happens, and she ends up meeting this guy. His name is Isaac Parker, and he comes through a time rift at the time of this lunar eclipse, and he meets Anika, and right off the bat, he tells Anika why what happened to him and why he's there, because Anika is this antique dealer. So when she initially sees Isaac, she kind of she knows him. She's like, wait, what the fuck? Why are you here now? You know what I mean? And he tells her what's going on, and now they have this opportunity of they have a week to find this weapon. This curse was set upon Isaac back in the 1800s, because this witch, who was disguised as this woman during that time, felt slighted because Isaac, I guess, wouldn't give her any attention because he was in love with Anika's, the version of Anika during that time, and her name was Aurora. So this witch put a curse on Isaac, where he had this thing where he had to live an eternity without Aurora's, affections or love, whatever. And now he comes back in to St. Groves during Anika's time, and to find this weapon to stop this curse. He has a week, or him and Anika, because he enlists Anika's help. They have a week to find this weapon and stop this curse, or get a cure, or stop, I guess this weapon is a cure to this case, so that finally and he has a week to get back to his timeline, where Aurora, I guess, is, and, so that things can be right or whatever. So, that's it with your blurb. Right off the bat, I'm going to rate this book 5 stars on Goodreads. I love this book. I love the makings of this book, just like this star-crossed black couple that runs into this this witch during their time, and this curse is put upon them, that for an eternity they are cursed to be without each other's love or whatever. And initially, going inside of the book, you think it's just Isaac, but it's also Aurora, who is traveling through time, missing her soulmate. And it's the book just really takes all these different turns that I wasn't expecting it to take, and it was a pleasant surprise. I loved everything about this book. I love the history that the author incorporated inside of this book, especially with Isaac and Aurora being from the 1800s, them being these elite, or sometimes elite, because they both came from wealthy families during that time, but them being these elite black college students during a time where I mean, even currently, where black people weren't expected to to accomplish much or be much. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that that even though Aurora during her time was this mulatto, you know, she was a biracial woman, that the author didn't really lay this tragic mulatto storyline on her. Aurora during her time was a black woman, and she wanted it to be known that, you know, yeah, my daddy white, but my daddy ain't got nothing to do with my life. I'm a black woman, you know what I mean? But I love the fact that she didn't give her, this whole tragic mulatto storyline that, that sometimes seems to, take prevalence in historical fiction and historical romance. The book itself, so again, you have Isaac and Aurora, who is now Anika in her current timeline. They have a week to find this weapon, and it's up to Isaac, because Anika is having like this rush of memories the more time she spends with Isaac, and then she finds this picture of Aurora, in a watch, from his time that he has, and she's like, wait a minute, dude, what's going on here? You know what I mean? And, I like that Isaac was always, that the author took the time to make Isaac always upfront with Anika about what was going on. Like, hey, I came through this time rift, this witch put a curse on me back in the 1800s, and I'm trying to get to this weapon to, to cure this curse. And hey, you're my fiance, or you are, you're my fiance from, or you're an embodiment of my fiance from the 1800s. So, I love the fact that she didn't kind of like drag the story along, with him like, oh, should I tell her? I don't know if I should, so I love the fact that she made, because they had a week to find this weapon, to cure this curse. And with Anika having this rush of memories, from a woman from the 1800s and stuff like that. So I love that she didn't play around with the story, that we didn't like drag it, with her finding out who, that she might be a embodiment of this woman from the 1800s, and why she had these strong feelings towards this man from the 1800s. Like, I really like the fact that she got to this story and she took off kicking and running, and that was it. So St. Groves is a town that has this paranormal activity every 1,000 years or so. Nobody believes it until the shit actually happens. And that's what happens on the night that Anika meets Isaac. This they sitting in the town square waiting for, this solar eclipse. And then and then next thing you know is vampires, elves, fairies, all sorts of shit going on. You know what I mean? And they just like, oh, there are some people in the town that have been there for a long time that knows about all this stuff that is going on, and they're just like, see, I told y'all, and y'all just thought I was an old crazy ass old woman or old man. I told y'all this shit was happening, but ain't nobody wouldn't believe me. So I love the aspect of that she gave us these kind of like different, things going on inside of the book. I love Isaac's and Anika's, even though they were from like different time periods. I love their interactions with each other, even though they occasionally bumped heads, but pretty much for the majority of the book they got along. There were no issues between them. You know what I mean? They knew what they had to do, because again, Isaac had to find this weapon and get back to his timeline. You know what I mean? And then we have this witch that comes back who's actually embodying somebody else in the town during that time. So, I like that, even though we have all this stuff going on in the background, this paranormal activity going on, this kind of like mystery, kind of like thriller going on in the background with them trying to find this weapon. And, she always kept the romance up front, because you have Anika that is just like, she has this really strong attraction to Isaac, and she just doesn't understand why until, Isaac starts telling her, about his past and, who she might be and all this other stuff. So it was a good read. I was pleasantly surprised by it. It was like really, really a well done story. The ending was really quite surprising. I wasn't Like, I kind of was expecting it, but I kind of thought it would go a different route, but it didn't. But I was like, no, I guess, okay. You know what I mean? But it all ended well. It was a well done story. We do get a happily ever after with this book and with these characters, and I have nothing but good things to say. I'm so pleasantly surprised by it, and I was just amazed by the story. I was just like, wow, like, this is really good. This is really a well written, well done story. She didn't stray like off topic. We didn't get like all this unnecessary drama, you know, or unnecessary mess. She just kept with it, and I was happy with that. So, yeah, if you're so interested, this is a backlisted book. Again, I do believe it was written like in 2015, but it's a real short read, a total of like 16 chapters, so you'll get through it like that. So, if you're so interested, add it to your reading list. And if you love romance, you know, with a tinge of paranormal romance, with a little bit of like action, mystery, thriller, you know, all that other stuff going on, then definitely add Across the Universe to your reading library. And that is it for me. And until the next one, it is. Bye.